It's not
It's
getting
not
over
getting
with,
over.
no,
Oh, okay.
but they are
Well,
making progress.
all right.
They are making good progress. You got to remember, we had a lot of catching up to do after the wet weeks we had earlier.
Yeah, yeah. But boy, I tell you, you couldn't ask for better weather for the guys though and gals.
No, you're right. Things have been going really, really well right now, and they are making a lot of progress. And we'll start out with the 122 bridge on the west side of Mason City in the eastbound lanes. I think it was a week or two ago we were talking about probably into mid-November. If things go well, it should be open by the end of this month. So
Ooh.
they've made really good progress. And I know we've talked about it before. The big thing with these bridge projects is the main bridge contractor gets the bridge itself done, but then you have somebody come in who has to do guardrail, and then you have another contractor who has to come in and maybe do some dirt work around before we can open it up. So it's all getting all those subcontractors to fall in line as well. But things have been progressing really, really well. So we're really hoping by the end of this month we can have that thing open to traffic. So we'll keep you updated as we go through October.
Okay. Now, there's I was up in Forest City Lake Mills area this past weekend,
Yep.
and they've got that by the airport road in Forest City. Is that one of your projects too?
Airport Road, I believe, would be a county project. We do have a project on 69 north of town that is
Okay.
a bridge deck replacement. That actually was going to be a bridge deck overlay. And once we started tearing into it, we realized that nope, this whole deck needs to be replaced. So that one's detoured, and it will probably be mid-December before that one gets open, just because of the extra work needed. So yeah, it's that was one of those. It's kind of like a home project. Oh, all we got to do is replace this sheetrock. Uh-oh, the studs are bad, the electricity's bad.
But
Think we've all been there.
yeah, but you don't run into that very often though, do you? On some of
No,
those.
we really don't. We really, really don't. And this weird thing is we kind of ran into it twice this year. The on Highway 18, the bridge deck overlay. No, sorry, that's bridge deck replacement too, over by Duncan. That
Mm,
one is going to take a little bit longer because once we got into it, we realized that the abutments, which is the concrete ends of the bridge that hold up the beams, that they needed some serious repair that you couldn't see until you got the deck removed. So that one's taking a little bit longer than we expected as well. But the good news is the one over by Britt, a little further west, is going well, and hopefully within a couple weeks, that one will be opened up. So we are getting to that point, like you mentioned, where we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for some of these projects. A lot of work, if you've been on interstate, is going on right now from like the 159-mile marker, which is about 35 miles south of Clear Lake, and pretty much all the way up to the Minnesota border between microsurfacing work. We're doing patching. Some of the most intense work right now is going on in the Clear Lake area where we are resurfacing, and that will probably last throughout the month of October. So be aware of that as you're driving on interstate. As there is work going on, again, they're not detours or anything, but there will be lane closures. So, and even some of the work, especially in the Clear Lake area, you might see happening at night as well when the traffic's not as bad. So be aware of that as you drive through there. The other big one, I guess, is the project in Mason City, the Highway 65 project at 19th Street. All
mm.
the underground work is done, the storm sewer and water main work. So they are now getting the road bed ready for paving, and they hope to start doing some paving next week. So hopefully by the middle of the month, the south side will be done, and they'll flop over and do the north side before we have to shut it down for the winter.
Oh boy. So is there? Can you can't do anything in the wintertime, can you? Doing any road construction?
Um, Not necessarily road construction. We can do bridge work depending on what it is. Good example is over in Waverly. We are replacing a bridge that we started, I don't know, probably about a month or so ago, maybe 6 weeks ago. It is a year-long project just because of the size of the bridge. And we actually started it, like I said, about 6 weeks ago. This way we can get the bridge removed. The bridge is tore out, and now we can do some of the work like driving piling, pouring piers and abutments. You can do some of that in the winter, depending on the temperatures, obviously. And then you're doing it when the water levels are low too. So again, it all depends on the size of the bridge. It depends on the project. But yeah, we are able to do some work in the winter. The same thing over at Lansing and that bridge replacement project. I'm sure crews will be working through most of the winter there. So it is very project specific. It's not very common. Again, road work doesn't happen very often, but sometimes you can be doing some bridge work like that.
Are you guys thinking of getting out early next spring and start fixing the potholes earlier?
We will fix them like we do every year, Jay. I wish I had a dollar every time you ask something about the potholes.
Well,
And
yeah.
hopefully there won't be as many because of some of the resurfacing projects, especially down like on Iowa 3 by Hampton, between Hampton and Interstate, and the microsurfacing we've done on Highway 69 between Belmont and Garner, and the stuff out on Interstate will be much better this year. So hopefully it's not as intense, but guess what? They will be there. So just relax and be ready.
Between the potholes and then fixing these some of these railroad crossings, man alive.
Funny you say that. I was just going to tell you about a railroad crossing project that's going on right now. There is one over at Highway 69 in Garner, just south of 18, that started yesterday. So the
Hmm.
road is closed there, and traffic is detoured on Lyon over to Seymour and then back up to 18. But that, weather permitting and the way the weather looks, it should be able to be fine. That should be back open by Saturday. So just a quick one.
I'm talking about the ones in Mason City here too, Pete. Those are bad.
Yeah, well, a lot of those are out of our jurisdiction, even though we do pay for most of these projects. But
Yeah.
yep,
Anything else going on, Pete?
I think that pretty much covers it for now. There is over on Highway 18, I guess, the Avenue of the Saints between Floyd and Charles City. We're doing some work on some bridge approaches, the ends of the bridge. So that should be going on for a couple weeks. So just be aware of that. Again, it'll be a lane closure. But other than that, I think we pretty much covered it. So, like
It's
I
been
said, as we move along, hopefully I'll have some better idea of end dates on these things pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since we've talked, so it's good to get
It
a
has.
complete update.
There you go. That's what we're here for.
All right. Another update. Here it comes.
Do you like football? Love it. Love football. 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 What's a football? I gotta get that football helmet. I just want to play football. I love football. Let's play some football. Football.
You follow the football game?
You saw me doing like some kind of grill on a football field.
I like to talk about football.
Well, that's new.
Well, that way we can break up the segment a little bit, Pete.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a nice transition.
How about the Vikings?
Well, I think we talked in the preseason that the odds makers had the Vikings as underdogs in their first 8 games of the year. And they have been, even going into the Giants game and the San Francisco and Houston, and even last week in Green Bay, we were underdogs.
Man, I tell you what, Viking fans are all 28-0 halftime. Woohoo! Wow, this game is put away. And then the Packers start to creep back.
I tell you what, once that I think wasn't it Jalen Naylor who let that punt go over his head, which he should have never even touched.
Right? Yeah.
I had a bad feeling, probably because I've been a Vikings fan for 57 years, but they give Green Bay credit. They came back out and they went after them, and of course the Vikings played a little bit differently on defense. They did the wonderful prevent defense, but they did call a few timely blitzes that made a difference. So bottom line is it's still 4-0.
Right. Still a W. Still a W.
Yep.
I hit, because I'm superstitious,
Yes.
and how I watched the game and everything. Where I was standing, we were doing just kicking the living daylights out of them. And halftime, when they started doing the prevent defense, I thought, well, it's time to sit down. I'm going to sit down on the couch. Got a little sleepy, because it's kind of boring because we were like doing the prevent defense. Going, oh, here we are with the old Vikings again. And they started coming back. And then other people that, family around me know that I'm superstitious. And they're like, Jay, stand up again. And I said, well, I started. My eyelids were getting a little heavy, Pete. So they go, stand up. And then I stood up, and then that's kind of when things kind of got back to normal again. And we started rushing the quarterback some more and putting some pressure on them. And we came out victorious.
Yeah, it got more than a little scary, but and there's so many different things. If you don't do that muffed punt, that's
Right.
a total difference. If you get that 4th and 1 on the whatever 3-yard line, but guess what? They didn't. So it made it really interesting. So
And our kicker jinx rubbed off on the Packers too, because he missed 2 field goals.
yeah, I actually heard a Packer broadcaster yesterday say he'll be fairly shocked if he's still the Packers kicker this Sunday.
Yeah, it was. Because I didn't even have I wasn't even having a beer at the time. We were starting to lose a little bit. And again, nothing like peer pressure, Pete.
Yo,
Got the family member. Jay, drink a beer. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't really need one, but so it was outside. So the next thing you know, the one of the grandsons comes over and gives it to me right at the exact time that we got a big first down or a touchdown. I can't remember.
okay.
I go, and they said, yeah, there we are. We're back.
Take one for the team.
I didn't take one for the team. I only had a couple of them. I was, nice and slow.
That's what Sunday's about.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless the Vikings game stresses you out way too much.
Right. Yeah. I was feeling pretty good about it last night. Of course, Monday Night Football. There's 2 games on. Made some money last night, Pete. I was doing a little gambling. One on the Tennessee Titans and the Detroit Lions.
Very good.
I don't like the Seahawks, so I was better off to see the Detroit Lions. I like the Lions because they're in our division, but it would have been nice if they're them to lose.
So I can't cheer for them in the division right now.
Well, I know it would have been nice to see them 2 games down instead of just one. But oh well, at least the Packers are back there again.
Yeah, yeah. We got a long ways to go, but 4-0 is a lot better than 0-4 or 2-2 or whatever. So
we're almost a third of the way through the season.
Yeah, that's right.
If we can keep it going, well, at least we had a good first half.
We'll see what happens over in London this weekend.
I know, right?
It's always weird when they're playing, different time zones, way different time zones, obviously, and how their bodies react and everything. But I'm guessing they're going to go over early enough where they can adjust. And So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, there's positive Pete for Tuesday.
I don't know if I was real positive on that one. I was a little hesitant.
Well, a little hesitant. Hesitant Helmstead.
There you go. That's pretty accurate for that statement.
But you gotta love it. The only thing that's not really changed that much is the temperature, though, because it should be starting to get a little cooler, but it hasn't really been. We've been in the 80s, but we're cooling down to the 70s this week.
Actually, I think we might hit 80s later in the week again this week. So and everything I've seen so far anyway through October is we're supposed to be above average temperatures and below average precipitation. So
well, and somebody said that with the whole thing, it's supposed to be a wet winter, they say. Somebody looked at sorry meteorologist that might be listening, but the Farmer's Almanac says that it's going to be a wet winter.
Okay.
Now, whatever that means, hopefully it's not like wet and 70 below. So
right.
It makes an ice skating rink out there. But
we've got our annual fall maintenance conference next week, and we always have a forecaster in who gives us a winter preview. So not next week, but hopefully the following week or so, I'll be able to give you an update on what our forecaster is calling for. And they've been pretty accurate the last few years.
So is he like a meteorologist, or is he a professional weather gatherer guy, or what?
Isn't that a meteorologist? Professional weather gatherer guy?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think it is, Pete.
No, they are all meteorologists. It is a forecasting service, and yes, they are meteorologists.
Has anybody ever pulled out the Farmer's Almanac at that guy?
Not that I've seen.
Really? How about you be the first?
No, I think we'll leave it as is. Like I said, they've been pretty accurate and pretty good to us, so I don't think we'll jinx anything.
Okay, all right. It'd be fun though.
It would be something.
Just pull that baby out and go, I got something for you. What does this say?
I think they usually do reference it
Do they?
in kind of a meteorologist way.
Right.
Yeah.
Weather gatherer kind of guy.
Yep.
Well,
I should
good.
write that one down.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty proud of myself. I came up with that all on my own just now.
It sounded like it.
Yeah. Sounded it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. The roads are getting better, and the weather's been good. So we'll keep our fingers crossed it keeps going that way. And the Vikings still undefeated.
Exactly. That's very good too. And we got to touch on too. Iowa State undefeated. They're playing
yeah.
well. Iowa's got a big game. I was actually at the Iowa Minnesota game a few weeks ago up in Minneapolis with my brother, so that was a good time for me.
Oh yeah.
I don't think my brother was as happy, but
Yeah.
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 The next morning, my nephew came upstairs and goes, "You guys have fun at the game last night?" And my brother looked at him and goes, "Well, Pete did."
Yeah. You gotta love when Iowa does well.
Yes, you do. And just, I don't, you probably don't have a cool little song to play to jump back to roads real quick, but let's also remember that harvest is really hitting full speed right now. So be aware of that out on the roads too. And as dry as it is, there's going to be a lot of dust. So that makes things a lot more difficult at intersections and everything. So be aware of that and enjoy the nice fall weather, and hopefully your football team is winning unless they're playing Iowa or Minnesota.
You're right. Exactly. Yeah. Good luck to you.
Yep.
If you are playing any of those teams.
Exactly.
Yeah. It'd be a tough one this week. Ohio State, right?
Yeah, that's going to be tough in Columbus.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Right. I wouldn't either.
I'm a Hawkeye fan, but I'm also realistic.
Right. And positive.
Yeah, try to be.
Yeah. Positive, hesitant, all that good stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, Pete, have yourself a wonderful week. All right. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds great. You too, Jay.
That's the good stuff.